This is the reason why you haven't achieved that dream that you have, that vision that got implanted in your mind, in your heart, in your soul. And the reason is because you don't believe in that vision that God gave you. You don't believe in those dreams that you have. And the reason why you don't believe in these things is because your actions are not aligned with the person who will achieve those things. Your actions are not aligned with your higher self, and your higher self is the one that is capable of achieving that vision that got implanted in your mind. So this is very important for you to know and understand, because when you want to solve something, you need to go to the root of the problem so you can really solve it from the bottom. A lot of people always try to solve things from the external, but they don't go to the root, they don't go to the bottom of the problem. And this is what you need to do in order to actually solve every single problem that you're going through. So in this video, I want to go to the root so you can actually solve these things. And for those who don't know, my name is Emiliano Ahumada. 3 years ago, I went through depression, anxiety, addictions. I was about to literally commit suicide. I was in a very dark hole, but by the grace of God, I overcame all these things. And now I'm helping people to overcome them through my proven infallible 4-pillar method. This method was the one that I created when I was going through all those things, and based on this method, I was able to overcome all these problems and these battles that humanity is facing nowadays. So now I help people to learn and to implement in their lives this 4-pillar method, so they can finally overcome all these things: depression, anxiety, addictions, and find their true purpose. Find what God created them for. So now that you know who I am, I want to go into the theme of the video. Like I was saying, you haven't achieved those dreams, ambitions that you have because you don't believe in them, because your actions are not aligned. Let me put you some simple examples so you can understand what I'm talking about. Let's say that you want to be a successful business owner. You want to have a successful Amazon FBA business. And you know that in order to get there, you need to contact at least 30 providers every single day. You need to spend at least 5 hours per day searching for winning products. But every single day, instead of contacting 30 providers, you contact 1 or 2. Instead of spending 5 hours searching for winning products, you just spend 1 hour. And the other 4 hours, you spend them watching Netflix, watching porn, having negative thoughts. Tell me how you're going to feel. What are you going to believe of yourself if you have these type of actions? Are you really going to believe? I'm not talking about those thoughts of delusion of, oh, I want to be this guy, or oh, I want to become this man. I'm talking about a real belief, a certain belief of, I am this man, I am this woman. Are you really going to have that type of belief if you're literally doing the opposite of what you know you need to do in order to get to where you want to be? Of course not. Let's say you want to be a professional bodybuilder, or you want to have a great physique, and you know that you need to go to the gym at least 6 times per week, and you need to track your macros to a T. You know you need to rest at least 7 hours per day in order for your muscles to recover and grow. But every single day, You're putting excuses when you know you need to go to the gym. Instead of getting your ass up from the couch, putting your clothes on and going, you start telling yourself, no, I'm so comfortable in my house right now. I'm watching my favorite series, I'm watching my favorite movie, I'm watching my favorite YouTuber, so I don't want to go to the gym. I will go tomorrow. I will go on Monday. Then, because you didn't go to the gym, you start telling yourself, now I can't track my macros. I can't hit my daily protein because I didn't go to the gym. I missed my workout, so I'm going to miss my macros because I missed in one thing, so it doesn't matter if I miss on another thing. How are you going to feel? What are you going to believe about yourself if you start having these actions? Of course, you're not going to believe that you're going to be a professional bodybuilder because your actions are not aligned with the actions of your higher self. Let's say you want to be a professional coach. You want to lead people to greatness like I do. But every single day, you wake up at 10 a.m. Every single day you tell excuses to yourself so you don't hit your morning routine, so you don't hit your daily activities, so you don't hit your workouts, you don't track your macros. Because if you want to lead others, you first need to lead yourself. You first need to know how to conquer yourself, conquer all these flesh desires that are not aligned with who you want to become. So now that I gave you these 3 examples, I want you to grab this principle and transcend it to what you're doing. If you want to be a professional Formula One driver, if you want to be a professional YouTuber, if you want to be an architect, if you want to be whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that you want to achieve, transcend this principle into that and think, how am I going to feel if I don't do the actions that I know I need to in order to get there? Of course you're going to feel like shit and you're going to start losing faith in yourself. You're going to start believing that you're not meant to achieve what you want. And I know how it feels because I went through the exact same things. 2 years ago, I was trading. I made a couple $1,000s from trading. But at first, I wanted to be a professional trader. Literally every single day, I was thinking about the charts, about getting funded, about all these things. But 4 out of the 7 days of the week, I was getting up late. I told myself I was going to get up at like 5:30 a.m. or 5 a.m. so I can do my morning routine, and after I can get into the charts with a clear mind. But from the 5 days of the week that the market was open, like 2 or 3 days, I was actually doing what I told myself I was going to do. So of course I spent like 1.5 years without results. I didn't saw one single dollar that 1.5 years. But it was because my actions weren't aligned with the trader that I wanted to be. And after I started aligning my actions, after I started waking up early, after I started hitting my morning routine every single day before getting into the charts, after I started doing all these things, my perspective and my self-beliefs changed completely. And I started believing in myself. I started telling myself, I am the trader who is funded. I am the trader who is making thousands and thousands of dollars every single month. And indeed, I got funded. Indeed, I made money from trading. And I put you this example because it's a real life example that I have. And I will always talk about my experience. I will never talk about something that I don't know or I haven't gone through or I haven't achieved. I'm not that type of person who just comes here to sell you something that he doesn't know. That's why I'm talking about my personal experience. And I have proofs of when I got funded. I have proofs of my withdrawals. I have proof of all these things. But going back to the point, I want you to pause the video right now and analyze who you want to become. But I want you to really analyze it, because your future will depend on this. Your future will depend on the self-image and the goals that you put to yourself, that you establish to yourself. That's why it's very important to have a clear mental image of who you want to become and what you want to achieve, because your actions will determine your future. And if your actions are not aligned with the person that you want to become, you will get nowhere. But how are you going to align your actions if you don't even know who you want to become, if you don't have a clear mental image? So this is the first step. Understand and analyze who you want to become. Understand and analyze who your higher self is. I want you to really think about all these things and grab a white sheet and a pen and write them down with details. It doesn't matter if you spend 1 week doing this, 1 month doing this, 15 days doing this. Of course, I didn't craft who I wanted to be in 1 day, in 1 hour, in 1 week. It took me years to know exactly who I wanted to become, but I started with the mental picture that I had at that time when I was literally going through the darkest moment of my life. I wrote down who I wanted to become. I started with that mental picture that I had at that time. And of course, my mental picture right now, it's way different. I finally know what my real purpose is. But first, start with that mental picture. Start with that mental image, and you're going to perfect it through your journey. You're going to perfect it through your life experiences, through God telling you, hey son, hey daughter, this is the path, this is the way. That's how you're going to perfect it, because a perfect plan is created through an imperfect plan followed by imperfect action. Because if you never move, you will never know how to craft and keep crafting your purpose. Keep crafting the man or the woman that you want to become. Because in order for you to become, you first need to be. And how you're going to be? By acting and aligning your thoughts with that person. That's the only way. If you're willing to really change your life completely, if you're tired of feeling that you're walking with no direction, if you're tired of feeling that you don't have a purpose, that you're just covering yourself in the drugs, in alcohol, in all these things and vices, I want to work with you one-on-one so I can help you overcome all these things with the 4-pillar method that I used in order to overcome all these things, so you can find your purpose, your true purpose, so you can finally accomplish all those things that you want.